We are live on a houseboat in Amsterdam in the red light. No, she's just got the red shirt on. It is Els here with me on Say It Anyway. Els, you were the first guest and you were the perfect guest for this new energy of the show. I used to interview men and I decided I'm no longer interviewing men. I am only focusing on women who are going to be real. And I met you in the PWN in Madrid, and then I came to your house, which floats on a river, and you have my dream life. And of course, I would love to hear how you got the life that I would once, that I want to have. Els, round of applause. Woo.
Thank you. Yes, that's a really lovely introduction. Thanks for having me here, Jessica.
I love Holland. I love Dutch women. I love the honesty, the humor, and I love your milk. Now, I also like your tall men, but I just said I'm not going to talk about men, but I love so much about Holland, and I think I'll be interviewing a lot of women from there because they just say it anyway. No? Have you found that about in your international work? You worked in a chapter of the United Nations. What did you see about the Dutch women? Just a little introduction.
So here's the funny thing is I had no clue what being Dutch meant until I actually moved abroad. And that's when I realized how things are different when you're Dutch or in the Netherlands versus when you're in a broad country, in another country, I should say. And but I was also very, very lucky. For the UN, I started, my first assignment was in Africa. And when you come there as a European, you're the odd one out anyway. So no matter what you do, it's going to be weird. It's going to be different. It's going to be, so I could be completely myself. And for that being accepted in my, as you said, as we are so used in the Netherlands, when you ask me, does my hair look good? And I think not, I say no, That's what we do. That's what we taught. Really? And I did in Africa too, where the normal way of treating each other was far more English based. But as I'm, the foreigner anyway, they kind of laughed at it all the time. And they started to copy me towards me as well. So it worked really well. I could just be myself.
Speaking of being yourself, that is a quality in a human because you experienced working in a toxic environment, leaving, and then finding that you had, by habit, perhaps, adopted some of those toxic behaviors. And I'd love to hear your story of how you cleaned that up, how you introspected, or how you had to just shake it off like it's a bad day and find who you actually are, who you were in Africa, who you love to be when you're thriving.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. So here's the thing. I wish I could have shaken it off. That's first and foremost. But I found out the hard way that was not the case, even though I thought it was the case. So I was pretending everything was fine. And I was pretending when I was working in a toxic environment that I could fix it, that I could deal with it. I had the strength, that I could have the tools to deal with it, only to find out the hard way that I couldn't. So to tell you a little bit of background of the story was that I had climbed up in a company and I was asked to join a board of a daughter company of the headquarters where I used to work. And that board saw me when I arrived as the traitor and the collaborator. They saw me that way and they treated me that way. And I thought, I don't care. I can deal with this. I can change their minds about me. I'm charming. I'm nice. I can change this. Turned out I couldn't. And what I didn't do was the one thing that would have saved me. And that is ask for help. I was so strongly convinced that I could solve it myself that I ended up there was this one big blow up in a meeting with the board. And I stormed out and I went straight to the HR and said, I resign. And I was, of course, I'm Dutch, and I was based in Boston, in the US. And the HR director didn't blink at all, but said immediately, "Well, that means you are in breach of the contract, which means we take my hands off you, and your visa is only valid for another 2 weeks if you resign. So you need to leave the country, and we're not going to help you leaving. So you have to pay it yourself." So that was, I think, the biggest eye opener for me when I was there. I thought I was there and I had a door. If I don't like it, I go out. I go back. Turns out I didn't have that door, and that door was actually fully locked by my contract with the US daughter company. So I had to do something that was hard. I think for everybody it would be really hard, and that is I had to swallow my pride and my resignation. I had to pull it back because I did a very quick calculation in my head, and I was like, I have no money for this. I have no money to leave this country within 2 weeks. And also no money if I come back to the Netherlands to keep me going for a couple of months while I look for a new job. So that was a bit scary. So I respected my resignation. I stopped basically my social life because I don't know about you, but when I was in this horrible work environment, I tried to make it the nice part for my life in the private life. So the weekends I would go on ski trips. I would, during the week I would go out for fancy dinners and stuff like that, all just to balance the not so nice atmosphere at work. So I had literally no money. I'd spent all my savings and everything. So for 6 months, I did nothing, no social life, no nothing, spent no money, put everything aside. And after 6 months, I had enough money again that I thought I could pay for my own back. I mean, the ticket, of course, was not the problem, but I had my whole life was there, all my stuff, a car even. And so I had enough money to bring that all back and survive for another couple of months while I find a new job. So I was ready to resign again. And I went to the managing director at headquarters, called him up and said, I quit. And I know the consequences, but I have just had enough. And then he said, Els, if you quit, I have another job for you here. Had I told him a half year ago that I was so fed up and I was quitting, he would have done the same thing.
Oh, man.
But I stepped into that I'll fix it myself modus. And therefore, I ended up after 6 months of a poor social life, but a lot of money. So you know what I did? I went to a jewelry store and I bought the most expensive watch I could find that I liked. So platinum watch with diamonds and everything. It's the one I'm wearing. And I thought, I won. Look, I got this out of it. So I'm fine. I went back to the Netherlands, not realizing that year and a half living or working in an environment where I was not trusted, where I felt being stabbed in the back continuously, where I had to tiptoe around everything. It did something to me. And what it was that I lost that confidence in I can fix it. And suddenly, you have one tough period and you forget the 20 years of good periods before that. And you stay stuck in that mindset. So when I came back to the Netherlands, I did not trust anybody. I was constantly thinking people were stabbing me in the back and in no time I ended up in a burnout because there was no way to work. That was a bit tough. And as in Holland anyway, when you're in a burnout, you go you go to your psychologist and you have therapy sessions. And this psychologist said, like only after a few sessions, it's like, no, you're not in a burnout. You have PTSD.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's because you're still living in your mind in that traumatic environment. You're already out of it.
Oh, wow. It felt good to hear that was the reason.
Yeah, it was good to know the reason, but it was
Yeah.
really hard that I couldn't switch it off. And so after the official burnout period, and we all declared myself cured, psychologist, me, and the company doctor, and I came back to work, I had profoundly changed.
Mhm.
Before I went away, my whole career, I was the yes and woman.
Mhm.
And that meant that whenever somebody threw a proposal to me, I would immediately see all the possibilities. So we go like, yes, and when we do this, we can do that, and this is another possibility. And, I would go on. This was the whole reason why I made such a great career in that company, because they put me on every time there was this new business model to be rolled out, or a new product line, or new departments. They put me there because I never saw the problems. I only saw the solutions or the possibilities.
Mhm.
And that stopped. I could only see no. The word was no. No, we can't do this. No, I don't think we can. At best, on my good days, I would say yes, but not now. So we're still blocking everything. And it took me a while to realize that I became exactly, in all my answers, exactly the same as my toxic board was, who said no to me, everything I did while I was working there. I had taken completely that modus, and that was a shock for me. And I was really, when I figured that one out, I thought I have to leave here, this whole company, because it's following me.
Mhm.
So I looked for another job, found another job, and with 6 months, I resigned because, again, I felt that it wasn't coming back.
Oh,
Found a
wow.
new job, did the same thing after 6 months again. And that, I tell you, only then I realized I'm taking it along. The only common denominator in this whole story is me.
Mm.
And that's when I finally realized, okay, there's some inner work that I need to do that would get me out of this pattern, because I'm staying stuck in this pattern. I keep on responding exactly the same way that I don't want to.
Mm. Wow.
And yeah, so that's when I was introduced by a friend of mine to RTT, and that is Rapid Transformational Therapy. She said, that works.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll try anything. And then I figured out that actually was very expensive. A session would cost me £10,000.
For therapy. Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. But it's the one who designed this, Marissa Peer, had become so famous already and so asked for that you could ask this question, this money. But luckily, what she also did, and this was my luck, she had just started a year before her school that she would teach people to become a transformational therapist. And I thought, you know what? I could pay the same amount or more, a little bit more, but anyway, to go to her school
Mhm.
and then sit at the front row, which I did every single day. And then every time she would ask for a subject to help you to go to
Yeah.
test it on, I would go like, yeah, take me. Thinking free therapy.
Mhm.
Yeah. And well,
Dutch.
and the rest is kind of
It's
like history. Yeah.
wow. Wow. It's great. I wish I had popcorn. It really was like, and I started thinking those people that were in the board in America and people who are no people, are they all suffering as well? And because when you're, okay, I'll go a little bit deeper. Like when you're a child, it's like, it's a yes world. Why this, why that? Like everything seems possible. You grow up, teenager, depends on your trauma level and where your privilege and everything. But if you were not a no person, something happened to you because your essence, your character, your vision of the world got switched to the complete opposite. So these people that are in toxic environments, I wonder if they ever got to a higher position, they couldn't have been always no people. Like, you don't rise up very well, you don't make friends very well, you don't have very strong relationships if you're a no person. So for someone to get to the board of something important, I can't imagine, or what do you think? Were they always no people? Or something happened and they just got stuck there and they didn't get out of it, like you saved yourself?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And I love that link that you make, that you can't be a no person if you want to get this high. I think, in all honesty, to each other, they were no people. They were
They
no
weren't.
people to me.
Oh.
So they treated me as a no as everything I wanted to do, everything I wanted to arrange, what I was hired for, actually.
Yeah.
I do remember the software had to change, and I had completely redone all that. And I know that after, I think, 2 or 3 months after I've left, they changed it all back to the old software. Just to give you an idea, that was the only thing I had achieved. And in 2 months, they dismantled it immediately.
Oh, God.
So there was this profound distrust of whatever I brought or said or wanted to do. The answer was always no.
So that room was a no room for you, and a yes and room for other people that they trusted more.
Yeah, towards each other.
Nothing to do with you. It wasn't about you. It was about their perception of why you came to America, and the companies merged, and you were the victim of that merge gone badly and the bad explanation of why you're there.
Very well said. Yeah, exactly that. And
so
what I became, oh, sorry. You want to ask?
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say what I'm most victim of is actually my own stubbornness on not willing to share the fact that was going on with other people.
And why was it embarrassing to say that, like, they're blocking your ideas in America? Maybe I'm not so bright in America, or what was that feeling?
Well, yes, part of it that. So part of it's pride, but also part of it is my identity. I fix everything. I can live in Africa. I can live in America. I can live in the Caribbean. I fix everything. Turned out that identity wasn't true. Now I'm thinking it's still true. Had I asked for help, I could still fix everything. But I had a strong conviction I had to do it on my own.
But could you have, because I suffer from hidden perfectionism. I'm a German that was made in Germany, delivered in Canada 6 weeks after my parents came here, with perfectionist mother. And what I know about all my uncles and most Germans that I meet, which you are not German, so you can't, the Dutch in my worldview are not perfectionist as the Germans are. We're only happy if it's perfect, and we want to fix things and make it all work, and then we can be happy. Well, welcome to the real world. Nothing is ever perfect, ever. So I'm perpetually unhappy with this little vision of, like, if only. And I hate that I do it, but it's so ingrained in me. And I never even realized it until very, very recently that ChatGPT diagnosed me with it. and it's true. He's read all my journal articles, right? He knows me very well, Mr. ChatGPT. And I'm wondering, is that idea of, like, I can fix the room. Like, how could we think we could fix a room of 20 people? Like, how charming are we? What's your thought on yourself and that thought of, I can still fix things? I can fix it with a group now? Is your new idea?
No, the new idea is that I can still fix most of the things I want to fix, but I'm no longer stuck in I have to fix it myself. So,
but then how would you have gotten help to fix those people who saw you as a traitor? How can you change those people's minds?
Well, first and foremost, I should have immediately gone back to the managing director and said, this is what's happening in this boardroom. You need to be aware of it. And then come up together with a plan. I don't know what it would be, and maybe more people, or maybe I should be replaced by an American, or, what I know now is take yourself and your pride and your shame and everything out of the equation. But just look at the problem. The problem is that daughter company wasn't following the mainstream guidance that came from the headquarters. I was sent to do that. And if I wasn't helping, or if I as a person couldn't achieve that, then there would other things needed to be done or used to achieve that. But I saw it as my personal failure that I couldn't achieve it. And then you get into this dark spiral going down. It's a bit like your perfectionism. You start to think that first perfectionism and then happiness. But in all honesty, it's the other way around. If you are happy, things will become perfect.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would like to almost end on that. If I didn't have to talk and close this off and press the button, I would say, That was a beautiful ending. So as the title of the show is Say It Anyway, I've started something that I've been doing for 15 years, but I finally found a word for it, room shift. And so that's why it's so beautiful that you're my first guest on here, and I'm very honored. Thank you. About if you can't shift the room by yourself, what do you do? Do you shift yourself? And when you shifted yourself into a version that you brought with you back that you didn't like of yourself. So these are really real situations that we might be in, and we're not realizing that the room has invisible rules for you as the Dutch kind of overseer to the American chapter, right? You know, it was that just the rules for you. No one told you in the contract. These are the invisible rules for the Dutch woman who has come over from the headquarters to tell us how to do it the right way. Everyone else gets treated differently, but you don't. And if you can't read that right away and ask for help, who suffers? Well, everyone. But who suffers the most at home? And expensive dinners and expensive, beautiful watches. Obviously, no regrets on that one. It's beautiful, and you still wear it. And you can think about, that was the time when I wasn't quite as awesome as now. Look at me, yeah. So what is one thing that you would have said anyway, even though it wouldn't have suited the room, that would have changed your circumstance out of PTS faster?
Yeah. Oh, very good question. What would I have said? I think the real truth was, of course, that if you don't accept me, there will be another person like me, or other things will change. So choose the change you want rather than how do you push away any change that is coming towards you. And what they did was push away every change that come towards her. And I tell you, nobody of that board is still at that board anymore, because very quickly afterwards, the CEO was taken to another job. Other people in that board were also asked to leave. So it became also detrimental for them. So be careful what you fight. But what another thing is, like, I should have been also a bit more clear for myself, is that it wasn't about me. It wasn't about me at all. It was about them. And that was something that I wasn't able to see yet. I took it all on me. I took my shame.
The room wasn't inviting to you, and you thought it was your fault, and you could fix the room.
I thought I could fix it. Yeah, but I couldn't. And that I should have been very clear about towards them as well. Know what you're fighting or pushing away when you push me away.
Beautiful. Els, thank you so much. I loved it. It was the perfect insight. I haven't worked in the corporate world. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, but I've been everywhere and been with lots of people, but I don't have that insider view of what it's like in the boards. And so that's why I love talking to women in rooms that weren't welcoming to them and still might not be, and what we can actually do about it, because we can't change everything. If we could, my husband would pick up his socks, right? Maybe I should send them to you. Rapid transformation. Pick up your socks and put down the toilet seat and learn how to cook something other than pasta for Jessica. Oh, that would be worth $10,000, my friend.
I don't charge that much.
Oh, great. Cheaper than finding a new husband, huh?
Exactly.
Great.
All right. Really nice for being here. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Bye.